This is absolutely Essendon. It's our round 20 review. I mean, it feels a little late for a review.
We can touch on it. We'll touch on it for sure.
We're
talking about the Sydney game, right?
Yes, the Sydney game.
I think everyone's moved on from that.
I think
you want to open up the sore again.
I think they have. But apologies that we weren't sticking to our normal schedule. One of us got COVID. Highly inconvenient. Didn't know it was still a thing. Apparently it is. And but we will push on. I think, I know that there'll always be a couple of things. All right, sorry. I will project this way.
Please.
Because this isn't a massive studio. This is not GTV9. I'll try and direct airflow, particles.
Yeah, they'll fly back when they spot me.
When they bounce off that.
There's one.
Get him. Get that guy.
Well, I do hope you're feeling better.
So no, not at all. I am. I'll be sweating up. I'll be coughing a lot. So apologies in advance. But yeah, the Dons. We lost by 2 points against the Swans. First of all, what's the story of the game? That we were lucky enough to get that close in the end, or
good question.
We never really deserved to win? What's your view? You've had time to digest now.
A lot of time. I'm just trying to remember what happened because I think all the other fantastic Essendon fan channels have already had their review program.
They've fully digested the results.
They pumped it out within 3 hours of the siren.
They did.
We're coming in 4 days after the siren. So
right.
I don't know whether we're going to be adding anything new to the dialogue that's out there. I'm sure everyone watches
Unlikely.
Some of the other fan channels, which
I'm
are
sure
very
you
good.
do. I'm sure you do. We've got some unfaithful viewers.
Yeah.
We know.
Well, we know that we're not going to have a monopoly on your attention span, and that's fine. We get that.
We're good with that.
As long as you hit the subscribe button, we don't care what you do in your free time.
Please hit the subscribe button.
Please do, because I tell you what, we might have a little competition when we get to 1,000 subs.
Yes.
We won't tell you what that is until...
Giveaways?
More than giveaways. We've got some exciting news coming up shortly. But anyway...
Maybe a meat tray. Do they do those still?
The frozen chook.
Yes.
Yeah,
okay.
All of that. So look, let's not labour the issue for too long regarding the Sydney game. We came, we saw, we failed. And, 1 quarter of decent football, frankly, isn't going to cut it. And throughout the season, we've talked about Essendon taking these RQOs.
Yes,
the rostered quarters off. Well, we had a couple of the RQOs against the Swans. I think they kicked 7 straight at some point in that game. And without Buddy, because he was gone pretty early in the match. Bless him, and we're going to sadly miss him now that he's hung up the boots.
Yes.
Pretty good, though. I was in the ground to see Buddy Franklin's last game of football, so that's something to tell the grandchildren about.
Is it?
Well, probably not. Anyway, the game. A lot of positives in that last quarter. I think you can see Essendon at its best and worst in the Sydney game.
Yeah.
And as we have throughout the year, seen Essendon at its best and worst in the same game, right?
Yes. It has been that contradiction throughout the year.
And this was no exception. And I think, they teased us a little in the last quarter.
Oh, they're such teasers.
We got within,
such teasers.
We got within a Papley's dick.
Oh, we did.
Because that's a rather small and minute thing of actually winning that game.
We really did. I mean, for Papley, of course, gets that ball, kicks, heading for a point. Should have been a point, needed to be a point, obviously, but just catches that leg break, or whatever you call it.
Which way did it bounce?
To the right.
That's an off break.
Oh, okay. Well, caught the off break and threw for a goal. Whereas if it was Essendon needing that, the ball would have bounced, shot into the crowd, hit a disadvantaged person in the head, and we'd be up for $3.2 million in compensation.
It sounds like Lee Harvey Oswald's kicked the ball. The way it's
off the grassy knoll,
the magic ball.
Well, that's our luck.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
True. Yeah, it would have bounced off Jai Menzies' head or something. We didn't get there. We got very close, and it was exciting. To be honest, that last quarter, we looked fantastic. And when it all clicks for the Bombers, we've got a lot to look forward to. So not too disappointed. Yes, it would have been nice to have won, and of course our run to the finals has been severely hampered by the loss.
But we're adrift of the 8.
But may I say, no funeral eulogies from us. We are not consigning the season to the turf, to the dirt, to the sacred ground. We still think there's a chance.
Well, I mean, look, there's a mathematical chance.
Yep.
Now, I like to keep an eye on what the bookies are doing. So they're saying they're offering a price of $4, which means if you
what they offer when we play Geelong.
If you take the assumption that the bookies, let's just say, are ripping you off, that means that the real chance is closer to 10 to 15 to 1. So that's a 1 in 10, 1 in 15 chance of making it.
Well, I think we're in there, and there's no question that we've got 2 pretty easy games coming up. Easy is always a relative term.
Yeah, but mate, what's the point of making the finals if you're just going to bloody get your ass kicked?
Jesus. I thought you had COVID. I didn't know you were possessed.
I'm speaking on behalf
I thought it was like being in
the people viewing. Okay?
An extra in The Exorcist. With that voice. Be gone, devil. Be gone. So, look, anyway, we're still in with a chance. So let's not write the season off. And, we had some fantastic performances in that game. By the way, I think we had 22 more inside 50s in the game against the Swans. We just didn't have the efficiency.
That's what makes me want to cry. Doesn't it make you want to cry?
Well, what Peter Wright's, what did he have concrete hands put on while he was on sick leave?
Jeez. But just I mean, look, hey, you got some goals in the second half, so thank you, Peter.
Yeah.
But the first half, the way he was going up for those marks, those blown up things at the front of used car dealerships.
Oh, the inflatable.
Yeah. It was like it was like
outside.
That.
The sort of. Paul Jones's Toyota in Melrose or something. Peter Wright, though, there is some technical issues with the way he's playing. So do you have any views on that? You specifically, not a pundit, just your own personal views.
No, I'm going to defer to a pundit.
Okay, fair enough.
Right, okay.
I think you're just as credible.
No, I'm not. I never thought of it like this, because you always wonder, why is he always going up and he's surrounded by a whole bunch of people? But Dermot Brereton made a point at halftime on the coverage.
What a horrible man he is.
Yeah, all right, okay, fine. Whatever you think about his hairstyle, I mean, I think he does know a little about football. And his point was that he felt with Peter Wright that he just wasn't doing...
The only man in the world I know of that's had a dislocated penis, but we'll talk about that another day.
Yeah, well, you know how that happened, don't you?
I do know how that happened.
Right. Okay.
Not that I was there. Sorry, Peter Wright.
Sure.
Dermot Brereton.
We don't want to... people would, at this point, they'd rather hear about that.
Do you think so?
Yeah, big time. Watch us get subscribers then.
Do we do an after hours version of this?
Maybe.
The midnight to dawn
We need
sessions.
a new channel.
Sorry,
okay.
Back to the point.
His point was that Peter wasn't doing the work early enough in the contest to either create that separation from a defender, so then to create the gap, like your Hawkins do and other forwards do. That's why he's always just running along and they're all over him, arms over the shoulder, under, reaching up, and so he just never has that space, because that work isn't being done.
Thanks, Sherlock. Gee.
Right.
Okay, no, that's true. He has to create separation. He's being kind of swamped by defenders, and I tell you, if he got as many free kicks as some of the other key forwards in the competition, when someone's hanging off him or pulling his arms back, he would have 100 goals by now.
Yeah.
He is not looked after by the umpires.
Yeah.
But look,
but on top of that, he also dropped some...
All right, he did do that.
Yeah.
But 4 goals from a guy that's not in form is a good sign. And, of course, the other guy that kicked the goals, Kyle Langford, was just fantastic with 5 goals, I think.
5. Would have loved one more, just quietly.
Yeah, so I think he's already at 40 goals now for the season, which, for a guy that sort of had a bit of a uncertain place in the team over the last 5 or 6 years, he's really locked in that sort of half forward pocket type role, and maybe even full forward.
Yeah.
So
he's a blessing.
Yeah,
he's beautiful.
He was fantastic.
I just love when he's hitting up for a mark. Like, you feel like we're a chance.
He's never missing them, right? He's just so accurate in front of goal, and he's unlike Peter. He's got hands that are like vices at the moment. So so I thought that. And I also want to say Dyson Heppel was fantastic.
Amazing.
For us. And
amazing.
the more he goes through this season, the more I'm thinking he will be playing again next year.
Yeah.
Because why would you not have him in the side? He did some
You would.
great things, a lot of
Yeah.
unheralded, very brave
Yes.
things for us. And Jai Caldwell was the other one I wanted to talk about. I think he had 15 clearances or some ridiculous number.
Yeah. Massive number of possessions.
This has been such a breakout season.
He was
for Jai.
back with a vengeance.
Yeah,
He was.
And
Yeah, in that
the more I think about it, the more I'm getting excited about where we're going as a football team. And
Right.
Hobbsy was pretty good as well. I'm sure we're going to see Elijah Sardis coming into the side this week.
Really?
Absolutely certain it will happen.
Can you save that for our preview? All right.
And Caldwell's playing very well as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So can I ask this? Okay. We had 69 inside 50s. Whenever the Saints were going inside 50, very precise distribution.
Are we talking about the Saints or the Swans?
I mean, sorry, the Swans.
Swans, yeah.
I've got to have a go, man. I'm sweating here, all right?
Excuses,
I'm
excuses.
overheating.
Yeah.
So they... Very precise, sorry, I'll keep projecting forward, precise entries into their forward 50. Oh, hello, shots fired. They always seem to have a lot of space on the ground.
Well, that's because
bomb to a pack.
when they were going strongly, particularly in the second and third quarters of the game, I mean, their midfield was all over us, and they were able to cut through our sort of defensive wall at ease and get the ball out over the back. And more often than not, they were in very open one-on-one situations. All the ball was running free towards the goals. So, they exploited that. But we got a lot tighter in that last quarter, obviously, and our midfielders really put a stranglehold on theirs. And the game almost came our way, but
it did.
Not quite.
But with all those inside 50s, are you surprised that there isn't a focus to say, hey, let's not go to Peter so much? That's kind of not working out. Yes, okay, got a few goals in the second half. Let's create some space here, get some players out on their own, like the Swans were doing. They managed to do it.
I mean, that's true. Some of our kicking inside 50 was terrible.
Yeah.
Darcy was a culprit. I know there's been a lot of discussion about Darcy Parish around the Essendon world this week. Should we keep him? Should we not? Look, he was kicking at about 54% disposal efficiency for this game, but there were 4 of his kicks that resulted in goals.
Yes, so I think it's net positive with Darcy.
So despite missing a few, he still managed to deliver a lot of scoring opportunities into the forward line.
I would agree. Yeah. I would agree. A lot of people saying, he's got to go. I disagree.
I wouldn't go that far.
I disagree.
I wouldn't go that far.
No. So we've
so where to?
We missed Ridley. Boy, did we miss Ridley. Brian did okay around the ground. I thought he did some nice stuff.
Yeah, he was good. This has actually become quite an in-depth review, hasn't it? Of the game.
Yeah, well, we never know which way we're going to
take it.
All right,
well, I'm happy to keep talking about it because that's exciting stuff when you see Brian having a good game. And he's got another 4 matches, maybe 3, depending on how Draper goes towards the end of the year.
Yep.
But he's going to be playing a few more games throughout the season, and that's great because it gets him a real chance to sort of become far more acclimatised to playing in the AFL, and we can start to see what he can bring to the table. But he was good, and I thought Cox did pretty well in a defensive role. Kept his man reasonably quiet. Not a superstar, but there was some signs there. And please, let's remember, it's only his second game back after, more than a year out of the game. So it's going to take him some time. But there were some pretty positive signs for Coxie as well. So all in all, despite the loss, I think, there again, you're getting a window into the future with this side, and there's,
But isn't it concerning some of the, the selection choices? I know you weren't happy with that. I mean, aren't you a little concerned by that? Jake Kelly playing on the wing.
That was interesting, wasn't it?
Yeah, I thought so.
Don't think it worked, but look, I think if Sartis comes into the side, he'll probably play out on a wing. That's my guess. I would love to see Baldwin come in, but I just don't think it's going to happen. It just isn't going to happen.
But why do things like trying Kelly on the wing, which seems a little unnatural, may I say? Yeah, but then you don't bring in a Baldwin.
Well, that's the thing, So they're experimenting with some aspects of the game plan, but I think Brad's just loath to be making too many changes in any one week, and that's why we only ever see 1 or 2 changes at most. But look, the opportunity is there this week to try a couple of other guys.
Yep.
West Coast, I mean, without being disrespectful to them, if you're going to bring some younger guys into the side, this is probably the game you would do it in.
Right.
A little less pressure
Yeah.
against a not so fierce opponent. So we'll see. I mean, we're coming back for Friday's preview, the real preview that we do, along with your multi.
Yes.
And by then we'll have the exact team selections for the game on the weekend to talk about.
We will indeed.
Yeah.
But let's touch on Brad Scott and the press conference, because he said, he's not even looking at the ladder. Yeah, he doesn't even know where we are. It's all just he's not focused on that. It's all systems and personnel.
Yeah, I heard him say that, and he's lying. Of course he knows what the ladder position is. I mean, geez, even someone who doesn't follow the game will know, Bombers are not doing so well this year. Look, it's all a part of the pitch, isn't it, to just say, we're not losing sleep over short-term losses, and he's still trying to convince the fan base that it's all about the mid to long term, and what happens is what happens. They take it week at a time, but I'm pretty sure he knows where the team is on the ladder, and I'm pretty sure he's selecting the side to be, at least until it's mathematically impossible, to be competitive and hopefully get us across the line for September. But we'll see. I'm not sure there's a spirit of adventure in the selections, because they are trying to get across the line for the finals. That to me is pretty clear. He hasn't written the season off at all.
Oh well,
yeah. So he must know what the ladder position is.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So if last question, if I were to give you the keys to the kingdom,
right,
walk into the hangar for the last 4 weeks, the last 4 games.
Yeah.
Your word is gospel.
Right. Well, there's nothing new there.
Right. What are the key changes or direction, or just, let's say, top 3 things that you would do to get us into the finals? Or would you even try to get us into the finals? I know that's a question without notice.
Look, we did touch on this a little bit in our Where To From Here video. We sort of touched on some of these themes.
You may have changed. You may have changed.
Maybe. Look, what would I want to see? I still think we need to be giving younger guys the chance to develop by playing in the senior team. No kids learning how to play football in our VFL team. I think we got beaten by 82 points by the Sydney reserves.
Okay, but you can't bring them all in. So how many would you bring in while you're trying to balance this?
Well, as we've touched on several times throughout this season, Patrick Voss, I would love to see him have his chance, have a couple of games at least.
Yep.
And, you talk about our movement of the ball inside 50 and that Peter Wright's constantly the target. Well, we've got to get an alternative target in there, and Patrick Voss could certainly be that.
Yeah.
And I'd love to see how he steps up. And then, with Sartis, without a doubt, has to come into this side at some stage. We saw Davey coming in. He was, okay against the Swans, nothing exceptional. But I'd persist with him.
Yeah.
And then, Baldwin as a replacement for Ridley, or at least another defender. He's not exactly a replacement for Ridley, but another defender to come into the side, and he's been great throughout the year. When he had his chance earlier in the year, I think he was impressive. So, those 3 guys, and perhaps, we could take a look at a Montgomery, who's a backman type player in the VFL side. Right. He might be worth a look at too.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So I don't think there'd be too many changes, because, frankly speaking, I don't think we've got that much in reserve.
Yeah. Okay.
Setterfield could be back in the next week or so.
Oh, please.
Well, you know what? Depending on whether they can exhume him from the grave, because he's been gone that long.
Right.
And James Stewart also is back training full-time, so he might even get a go before the season's over.
No way. All
right,
okay.
Way, definitely.
All right, okay.
So, I don't think I'd make too many changes. Anything you would do, or what?
We've got to sort out the way we're kicking the ball. What is the point of getting the ball so many times into your inside the 50 if you're just going to butcher it like that?
Well, bombing it to a pack is never a good move.
Because Swans just kept waltzing the ball out, just waltzing it out, and they were carving us up through the centre of the ground. I don't know what we were doing. So I think there's some stuff there that we need to get onto right away if we're to have any.
And we've got to have better defensive pressure in that forward 50. So
that's a big part of it.
If nothing else, he's bringing the ball to the ground. our small guys have got to be jumping on that and owning that. So a little more defensive pressure in the forward 50 is most certainly something that we need to work on.
That was missing.
But look, putting all that to one side,
all right.
I thought we had a pretty decent game. Other than losing that second and third quarter, we were pretty good throughout the rest of that game, and only just missed out and could have very well won it. But that has been a bit of a story this year for us.
It has. Yeah. All too often. For Dons fans. Anyway,
all right. So
thanks again for watching.
No problems.
Let's leave it at that.
Thank you for getting off your deathbed and
I need to go and have
coming into HQ.
I need to go and have a lie down. And hopefully he'll be here on Friday now. Hopefully you haven't received any nasty particles.
I'm starting to feel a bit already.
But look out for our next episode.
Brilliant.
Thanks again.
Thanks, guys. See you soon. Bye-bye.
Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.